عبده ورسوله الداعي إلى رضوانه أما بعد. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. It's an honor to be on the same table, on the same chair, esteemed people, esteemed people that run from this community and other than this community. The topic that we were asked to speak about was fortifying oneself in dealing with these new beings that I believe we've now become well acquainted with after Shaykh continues speech. Right? We're going to continue on the same line. Right? Generally speaking, within 40 minutes, it's hard to give us a detailed perspective of the issue. However, we'll try our best to give us some general understandings which help us when dealing with these issues. It's not hidden from any of us. We've heard the size and the impact of these means, of these devices, of these tablets, of these phones, of these computers in our lives, the effect that they have. Now, this effect that they have, it's important for us to know that this effect that they have is in fact as positive and as negative as Shaykh has proceeded with mentioning. Now we have these new means, we have these new devices, we have these new applications. What I want us to understand is that these new devices, these new applications, these new means, they don't come alone. They come with new customs. They come with new ideologies. They come with new beliefs. They bring baggage. Fine? So with that baggage that they bring, then we need to understand that there's going to be now new rules that come into place. New rules that come into place also with that baggage, and that's what the Shaykh was referring to when he said nawazil. That's what nawazil is. Nawazil is things that we haven't necessarily got mansus alayh, textual evidences that directly relate to those issues. This now, when we say that they come with new beliefs, they come with new understanding, new ideology. This has a direct connection to now, as the Shaykh mentioned, us and our children. And the surveillance and the way that we cultivate our children. But this is a reality which we must be aware of. Rather, anyone who's aware of the simple fact, we want to just introduce the issue of these devices, the issue of these phones, the issue of these laptops, these tablets. Fine? Anyone who understands the fact that they come with the baggage, that they come with something new, they come with something which we're not necessarily prepared for, then how does such an individual now allow his young, now allow his vulnerable to roam freely into said environment? This alone, understanding this very concept that the fact that it's coming with new, already what? Is a warning sign. There's a warning sign. But I'm going to speak about it more in depth when we talk about the effect that these things have. Now, in this lecture, we talk about the effect that these things have. And as the Shaykh mentioned some examples, many examples of that, with Allah. We're not speaking about the effect of those direct means that are used to get onto the social media. What I mean is I'm not speaking directly about the laptop itself, and the tablet itself, and the phone itself, because that's a whole other topic which requires a whole other lecture and dawah. When you talk about the issue of the screen, when you talk about the issue of the psychological effect that screen time has on a child, that's something else now. Fine? When you talk about what's the suitable usage time for people of different ages of that said device, now we're going into something else. Fine? That's something which we need to keep to the side, but keep in mind as well. I was watching a clip yesterday of young children. When I say young children, I mean young children. The amount of screen time, the excessive amount of screen time, had led them to what? Have seizures. Uncontrollable seizures. Rather, I know of people personally whose children have had seizures from screen time. And they have health issues from screens. Fine? And this is common sense for any of us to understand the way that the screen works, the effect, the natural fact that it's going to have those effects. So that's something, that's a different discussion altogether. So here we're going to clarify now the effect, the amount of these new ideas that it's bringing. Right? And I want to give us an example. I want to give us an example. I'm going to take us away and bring us right back. I'm going to take us away and bring us right back to clarify what is the extent of these new ideas. What is the extent of these new ideologies, right, that this media, this type of media, social media brings to our life, right? I was looking into a few weeks ago the issue of, I'm going to take you away and bring you back, so pay attention, I'm going to take you away and bring you back. I was looking into the issue of traveling. What do the scholars say about traveling to a non-Muslim country? What do the scholars say about traveling a Muslim? Or the scholars are talking about a Muslim now, who lives in a Muslim country, traveling to a non-Muslim country. Generally, all of the speech that I have found throughout Islamic scholarship, throughout history, they mention 3 conditions. For them to say it's allowed, no, you can go, but there's conditions. You can go, but there's conditions. Right? From those conditions is that there's a need. Is that there's a need. From those conditions is that a person is able to make apparent his religion. You've probably heard of these issues. Fine? And there's other conditions mentioned. I'm going to summarize these conditions for us in some nice speech so we understand this issue. Scholars say that we can go and we can travel to that place. Fine? If you have 3 things. You have knowledge that can push away the doubts that you're going to find over there. You have taqwa that's going to protect you from falling into the desires that you're going to find in that country. Fine? And likewise, you have a need. So you have knowledge, you have taqwa, and you have a need. That allows you to visit country X, where you will find said people who disagree with our beliefs, and you may find said doubts and said desires. Does everyone understand the issue? Is there any misunderstanding about this issue? But when we say you have a need, we were born here. Our family is here. Fine? Excellent. Keep those 3 conditions in mind. We need these 3 things. We're traveling to a place where we may encounter the specific doubts of those people, the specific beliefs of those people, the specific fawahish and whatever it might be that these people are engaged in. Fine? And on top of that, we have a need. That's for traveling to that country. Excellent. When a person logs onto his laptop, and when he opens his tablet, and when he logs into his phone, when he opens the application, how many countries do you think he visited? How many non-Islamic countries do you think he visited? How many non-Islamic environments do we think that he visited? And so if those 3 conditions apply to go into one non-Muslim country, what do we think the conditions are for a person to now go into application X, Y, or Z? Fine? Rather, the principle in Islamic scholarship is that the hukum, the ruling of something, wherever the reason for that ruling is found, then the ruling is found with it. Fine? For example, alcohol is prohibited. Why? The reason it's prohibited is because it intoxicates. The reason is intoxication. Wherever intoxication is found, what? It's prohibited. Excellent. The reason that these conditions were mentioned about traveling to a non-Muslim country was because of what you might find there. Right? Everyone agree? Because what you're going to find there from those beliefs, fine? As we said, from that baggage. Fine? These 3 things are found even more so, as we all agreed, in all of those means. Fine? Whether it be YouTube, whether it be Instagram, whether it be Facebook, whether it be Snapchat, whether it be TikTok. So therefore the conditions are what? They become even more severe in this scenario. So that's what Islam would say about this. That a person needs what? He needs knowledge, i.e. the knowledge of his basic Islam that's going to protect him when we go into these domains. Right? And he needs a level of what? Taqwa. To protect him from falling victim to that which he might find in said domains. And likewise, what? Very important, which we're going to touch on, you should have a need. You should have a what? You should have a need. Fine, we're going to touch on that. Mindless scrolling. A free mind. We're just bored. So this is very important to understand, even to make this clearer. Back in the day, they used to say that the world has become like one small village. They say the world has become like one small village. It's changed now, they don't say village anymore. They say the world has become like one house. Like one house. And so it's as if a person can travel to every place of fitna that he can travel at the same time. And so this helps us understand the level and the size of what we're dealing with. As Shaykh mentioned, you can now understand the size of the monster that you're dealing with. Right? So now, this baggage, these new things, and the size of that impact, there is no doubt that it's going to affect an individual. Our environments day in and day out affect us. Fine? Think about the effect that these means are going to have on a person's akhlaqiyat. That which we see and hear in daily life affects us. So when we go onto these platforms, they have a direct impact on our behavior. On our behavior. What parents come to me and complain about, for example, my son, my daughter, they don't listen. They don't listen. Right? These things are going to have an effect on what? Their akhlaq, directly. Fine? Now this, it's very important for us to understand that there's two levels that we're speaking about here. Every time we're speaking about an individual, we're speaking about what? Our community. Every time we're speaking about an individual, we're speaking about our community. Fine? When people talk about the music and the fact that it might influence one individual to sell whatever it is that he's selling on the street, guess what? He needs a customer. He needs what? He needs a customer. And so whenever we speak about one individual, the society is made up of what? Individual. And so the harm that applies to that individual, it has a what? It has a carry-on effect. It has a carry-on effect. So this applies to the mustawa, the level of our tarbiyah that we give to our children at home, and it has a knock-on effect to the what? To the tarbiyah that our community is gonna what? Is gonna receive. Fine? Another point to make, which is that when we go on to these platforms, when we go on to and we utilize the room, it's important for us as parents, for us, we have siblings, to understand that when you go into this domain, it's a place where many different types, as what we said about akhlaqiyat and stuff, not just that, it's a place where people who have different motives are going to gather in one place. Not everyone who goes onto Facebook, and not everyone who goes onto Instagram, and not everybody who goes onto wherever it might be, has the same motive. Has the same motive. The Shaykh mentioned the issue of the cup. Right? Because we say means take the ruling of their intentions, of what they're intended for. And so if the cup is used for X, then it takes ruling X. And if it's used for Y, then it takes ruling Y. We need to understand that people are using these means with different intentions. With different intentions. Right? Some people are using it for research. We talk about, for example, the internet and these type of things. Some people are using that for research. Right? No issue. There are people that are using that for research, but it's important for us to understand that along with the person that wants research, and along with the person that just wants maybe to reach his family, connect with his family, fine, that there are also people who want to utilize the means to spread doubts, to spread atheism, to spread liberalism, to spread the isms and schisms that we've all heard about. There are people that will use these means to distort things that we believe in. To paint a false picture of reality. But this is the reality. But this is well known. There are people that utilize these means to spread lies, to spread fabrication. But there are people that, bear in mind, whether intentionally or unintentionally, there are people that just spread false information, wrong information, they might not have even intended so. Fine? But it's not from the group of people that what? That verify. There are people that utilize these means for the sole purpose of belittling someone else. We need to be aware of this, that this is where we're going into this meeting point of all of these different people that have all of these different intentions. For the purpose of mocking someone, for the purpose of causing trouble. Fine? As we're going to come to that, the social media is a reflection of real life. And that's the assess, that's the foundation that we're going to build upon when we talk about how to deal with these issues. That social media is a reflection of real life. And so just as we have people doing mischief in the streets, and just like you have people doing X, Y, Z in the street, you're going to have the same thing what? Online. You're going to meet the exact same thing online. Fine? So now when we go onto this thing and we log in, and we open this application, we're going to hear, we're going to see, we're going to watch, and we're going to mingle, whether we like it or not, directly or indirectly, with all of these different people who have all of these different intentions. Right? Here we're painting the picture. We're painting the picture. So the Islam says, that when you rule upon something, you have to understand that something. So the better you understand that something, you're going to better understand how to deal with that something. That's why it's going to say, the person who doesn't understand the issue, shh, don't speak about the issue. Because it's very likely that you're ruling upon that issue, and that which you have to say about the issue is going to be what? It's going to be invalid. It's very likely going to be incorrect. I want to talk about examples now of some of the effects that these means can have. Obviously, we've already talked about, and just clarified that these means have intentions behind them. And so there's no doubt that there's an extreme amount of good that can come from them. Right? Obviously, the topic that we've been given is what? Is the fitna. So that's why the examples that we're going to touch on are what? In line with that. Right? And obviously the opposite holds true. The opposite holds true, as the Shaykh said, the person who spreads khayr. Rather, we call everyone to try and put that effort in to spread khayr and minimize the harm that's out there. When we say we want to talk about some of the real life examples, or some snapshots of what can take place on these platforms, this is what we call the diagnosis. The diagnosis. Fine? Because they say that the diagnosis is the first step of what? Of cure. And so this helps us diagnose the problem clearly, fine? So that we can then come to, inshallah, some cures. Fine? Our Sharia, our Deen, Al-Islam, it governs us. It governs us as individuals, it governs us as communities, it governs us as society. Right? It gives us the boundaries of that which we can do and can't do. And so likewise, that same shart is going to govern us on these platforms. Fine? The Sharia, when it governs us, when it gives us these boundaries, when it gives us these rulings, when it gives us these do's, and when it gives us these don'ts, it gives us them, fiqh rulings now, it gives us them based on the intent to preserve certain aspects of our society. They say that the Sharia came to preserve certain things. They call these the intentions of the Sharia. Al-Maqasid. Right? The wisdom behind some of the do's and don'ts that have come in the religion. If we understand what those things are that the Sharia has come to preserve, and the effect that some of these things have, or these aspects that we're supposed to preserve, it will make it even clearer for us the impact that these things will have on a person's religion. One, they say that the Sharia came to preserve 5 things. Does anyone know them? 5 things. Jameen.
Yes.
Jameen.
Mad.
Yes. So the Shaykh mentioned the 5 things, they call it ad-darurat al-khams. The 5 necessary things that we need to preserve, that the religion came to preserve. From them is your deen, from them is your wealth. Fine? From them is your life. Fine? وَلَا تُلْقُوا بِأَيْدِيكُمْ إِلَى التَّهْلُكَةِ. The Sharia came to preserve your life. The Sharia came to preserve your deen. يَا أَيُّهَا النَّاسُ اتَّقُوا رَبَّكُمْ. You mean? That's pretty clear. It came to preserve your honor. Fine? And that's why you have what? You have certain punitive punishments. When it comes to, for example, claiming X, Y, and Z about an individual, a person will be punished in return for that. Fine? So when it comes to, for example, the effect that some of these things are now going to have on a person's religion, the very simple example that I'll give is the example of busying you to the point that what? That salah time goes out. Busying you to the point that what? Salah time goes out. Right? And you will know that the station that the salah holds in your religion. So this is a direct impact on your what? On your faith. On your faith. Well, in the Kitab of Allah Ta'ala, he refers to al-Iman as what? As-salah as what? Al-Iman. The Allah doesn't waste and render futile your what? Allah names it Iman. But the tafsir is what? Your prayer. The tafsir is what? Your prayer. And so a person becomes busy, doing whatever he's doing on these applications and these screens, and then he wastes that which is obligatory upon him. Simple examples. A person now, his mother is calling him. His mom needs help. From the smallest examples, when he's picking up from work. And the person is running late, why? Because of whatever he's busy. But obeying your mother, especially in this scenario, the person is free. What is that? What's the ruling on that? Do you mean? Likewise, the issue of, which is now, go from that fifth aspect, we're going to go worse now. The belief aspect. That these things have a direct impact on a person's what? On a person's belief. You ask many of the people who go media viral and go live on media that they left Islam, you'll find that when they're quizzed, a lot of it comes back to what? Shaykh Google. Shaykh Google. A lot of it. It comes back to what? Scrolling. And this is what we're going to touch on. The free mind. The free mind. And so it's going to have a direct impact on a person's religion. When it comes to your nafs, yourself, and the harm that a person can receive, then some of the back and forth that takes place online, I don't think that's hidden from any of us. I think we're all aware of what the back and forth that can happen online. People are going at war in the comment section, and it escalates. The person says this about that person and that about the other person. We're going to come to this issue, but he said that the foundation is what? This is a reflection of real life. So when a person is going at war with someone else in the comment section, what's that equal to? It's equal to a full-fledged argument. It's equal to 2 people in the street going back and forth saying, you know this and you know that. So again, this is very important for us to understand the enmity that can build up, the lies that can be said, that are said about individuals. Fine? This is directly connected to a person's nafs, to his honor, to his sanctity, the mockery. I don't think anyone need a reminder of that. Fine? The issue of mockery online, and especially in regard to this issue of mockery, the principle that we said, which we're going to come to, which is that it's a reflection of real life, is extremely important. Because for some reason, the second a person jumped through that screen, he's put on his cape. He's someone else. He's got a mask on. And now all of a sudden, he's talking like someone else. They call him what? They call him a keyboard warrior. Huh? Allah musta'an. Allah musta'an. Right. Now when a person does these type of things, these type of effects that are happening, we're going to talk about two things that the Sharia came to preserve. This is going to come straight back to what? Straight back to an individual. These effects are going to come straight back to a person's real life. Because guess what? At one point you're going to have to put the phone down. At one point you're going to have to log out. Some people keep it running. Like they're going to lock the phone and they're going to jump back into real life. They're going to take what? They're going to take the mask off. They're going to put their cape down and now what? He's in real life. Right? And this has happened. But some of these type of things that have happened on social media, right, whether it be enmity, whether it be argumentation, have what? Have become real life confrontation. Right? And this is well known. But when it comes to affecting a person's mind, his intellect, that the Sharia of Islam came to protect your intellect. It reveres, Islam reveres a person's intellect, a person's mind. Read again and again, أَفَلَا تَعْقِلُونَ. And do they not use their mind, do they not contemplate? Right? Even when Allah Ta'ala said, أَلَمْ تَرَى, أَلَمْ تَرَى. When Allah says, أَلَمْ تَرَى, do you not see? When there's two types of sight. Do we think that when Allah Ta'ala said, أَلَمْ تَرَى, you're referring solely to what? The visual sight? لا حتى هذا. تفاسير that says it's referring to what? Do they not utilize their mind? And so, the effect that these things are going to have on a person's mind also what? I think they're very, very clear now. But the very simple aspect of keeping you busy with lahu and lahu, or whatever it might be, is going to affect your aql, it's going to affect your aql, it's going to affect your intellect. It's going to affect your intellect. The fact that we're all well aware of this, they call them Gen Z. What do they say about Gen Z and then the next one? And then the millennial and another one. What do they say about them? They say that they don't know how to conversate. They don't know how to hold a conversation. So there's clearly been a what? Been an effect. And under this comes what? What we said about scrolling with no purpose. There's no purpose to what you're doing. But what you're doing, his answer will be scrolling down. That's what you're actually doing. Like I think what you're doing, why are you doing mindless scrolling. Mindless scrolling. Now when a person talks about, again, an individual's honor, a person is now seeing pictures, seeing images. There's apps now that are present and that are being pushed rather, right, that call to fawahish. Call to fawahish. Anyone with Snapchat probably knows what I mean. There's apps right now, fine, unless you've got filters on, it will come up. It will come up when you look at people's stories that call to fawahish. That's the ilan, that's the notice, that's the message that's the selling point of what? Of the application. The selling point of the application is what? Is fawahish. Fine? We ask Allah for protection. A person sees ill manners. A person learns ill manners from people that they follow, from people that they see, from trends. That's going to have a knock-on effect to what? His honor. It's going to have a knock-on effect to his honor. Because honorable people have a certain way that they what? They interact. They have certain things that they do, certain things that they don't. Right? And so when you start seeing grown men act as they say foolishly, fine, where's his honor? What do you say about individuals as it does that? What do you say about grown men screeching? Would any right-minded person consider that honorable? So naturally, these things, again, the impact is seen, the impact is visual. The words that are used themselves, because an honorable person use lowly phrases. Nowadays, the issue of, we mentioned this before in previous lecture, the issue of some of the words that are, we said it before, we said they're not even swear words anymore, right? What do you think? There's certain words that are used that they say, no, that's not a swear word. It's not curse. Become that widespread, that's what? No, it's loud now. Right? You can say that in front of a young child, no problem. Right? This is the result of what? This is the impact. This is the impact. Foul language is used, it becomes widespread to the point that what? It's not even foul language anymore, we become accustomed. We become accustomed to the point that you have that same foul language used on what? Used in front of children, used on anything that a child can watch. Wallahu musta'an. But let's change it up a bit and go to the issue of wealth. The issue of wealth. Right? I'm going to stay away from what the Shaykh spoke about the issue that you're going to be asked about, but he mentioned the issue of you bought those phones, right? You bought those tablets, and you bought those laptops and those gadgets and whatever they are. Right? From another angle, you see these products come up online, and sometimes you just want to what? It's easy to just click, just buy. Wallahi, there's households that the Amazon van pulls up to every single morning. Every morning is a daily visitor. Sometimes he comes 2 or 3 times to that same house to drop what? To drop a parcel. And if it's not him, then it's what? It's the Royal Mail. And if it's not him, then it's what? EPD. And if it's not him, parcels and parcels and parcels and parcels. What does the Sharia, what does Allah Ta'ala, what does the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam teach us in regard to spending our wealth? And what do we say about possibly buying something that's not going to benefit? Is it permissible to spend £10 note? Well, nowadays you want to tap, click. Is it permissible to click? And it's a financial transaction. Right? We're going to make that financial transaction for things that very often are of zero benefit. What does our religion tell us about it? How do we try and give us these boundaries so that we deal in what? We use, as we said before, the aql that we were supposed to have preserved somewhere when it disappeared somewhere. But inshallah, we hope that it's still there, that we can use it now and say, hold on, this thing here that I just purchased and clicked for, I don't think it's going to benefit me. So spending on that which is of no benefit. I think all of us are aware of the issue of fraud, right? On the internet. But again, this is something that's connected to what? Connected to these things. Connected to Snapchat. Snapchat's a very good place for what? Fraud. Facebook. I don't think any of us are ignorant of the issue of Facebook Marketplace. Someone wants a deposit. So, it was the cheapest car on there. Every time you go to the profile, they go what? 2024. It's the giveaway. So the issue of fraud, the issue of theft, right? The issue of go lower than that and connect that in just general financial deception. General financial deception. That a person sells something and they're not what? They're not honest. They're not honest. For some reason, everything that you buy, we only just bought it. We only just what? We used it for about a week, and then we want to sell it. And then you get there and it's what? Your wood's trapped or whatever it might be. How does it happen in what? 1 week. So all this comes under the effect that these things can happen on a person's what? On a person's wealth. Because that, as we said, all of these things that we mentioned, a lot of them are interactions. A lot of them are interactions. So if someone telling either someone buying, if there's a Muslim telling there could be a Muslim buying, if there's a Muslim deceiving or whoever it might be deceiving, There's what? There's possibly a Muslim being deceived. And so the issue of cheating and all this is what? I think it's very, very clear. Very, very clear. The Shaykh touched on the issue of that which spreads and whatnot. So we're going to leave any speech regarding the issue of that which spreads. The person just X, Y, Z, and then spread. You mentioned the lifting, you mentioned any of that. Allah, and I mentioned the issue of saying words, saying things that then what? Then go viral. A person says a word and not think twice about it. Because of that word, he's thrown in the fire, what? In other narrations, going further into the fire, like in narration becomes that he's gonna keep getting pushed further and further to what? إلى يوم يلقاه, to the day that he meets, Allah wa ta'ala. So now, this is what we're dealing with. And the Sharia of Islam is gonna give us boundaries, it's gonna set for us, put in place for us, and shape for us our akhlaqiyat and our ta'amulat, and the way that we interact. Fine? And likewise, any belief base, any i'tiqadat, any belief that you have, the shar, the legislation of Islam is going to work, is going to govern that, govern that for us. And if a person follows that, tries his best to stick to that guidance, then he's going to come with the exemplary usage of those means. So think about what the Shaykh was saying, he'll give you principles, and now we're talking about what? We're going to come with the exemplary application of that which, some of those principles that he mentioned. Right. So we know, so now we're going to go into some foundations in regard to these means. Before we go into the foundations regarding these means, I say this and I repeat this again and again, lecture after lecture, khutbah after khutbah. The deen of Islam is extremely simple. Extremely simple, extremely clear, black and white. It's not a difficult, that's why we see a lot of people work into Islam, because it's very straightforward. We have things that Allah seeks from us to do. And we have things that are sought from us to what? Stay away from. Simple as that. Anything other than that, as you wish. And so it's incumbent upon a person to just understand before he act. He understand what are those things that are sought from me to do, so that I can what? So that I can do them. And what are those things that I need to stay away from, so that what? So that I can leave them off. Fine? The first principle, and this is the most important principle, rather the principle that the Shaykh mentioned, and all the principles that I'm going to mention today, are built upon this foundation. If you understand this foundation, it gives you what? It summarizes everything. If you understand it properly. What's that? That you understand that your life here, your day-to-day life, is the asl, it's the foundation. And as soon as you jump through the screen, as soon as you log on, as soon as you enter into that domain, that world, that sphere, that's the far, it's a branch. It's connected. It's directly connected. If you understand this principle, then just like this life is the foundation, and the social media sphere is what? Is the branch, then the rulings that apply to us when we walk around the masjid and we walk around Coventry, or wherever some of the brothers have come from, then the branch of those rulings is what? Applies. As soon as you jump through the what? As soon as you jump through the stream. Simple as that. If you understand this issue, it makes a lot of issues clearer. I'll give you an example. I get asked often a question for example, regarding seclusion between males and females. Fine? Online, whatever it might be. If you understand the issue offline, you understand the issue a lot better what? Online. We said what? There's a foundation and there's a branch. So if you understand the foundation, you're going to understand the what? The branch. Simple as that. Very, very easy. You know what we said? Islam is simple. Allah seeks from you to do X, and Allah seeks from you to stay away from Y. When you jump through the screen, He doesn't stop seeking that from you. Simple. That's the principle. And when a person understands this, he understands how to deal with the branch. He understands how to deal with the branch. I'm going to ask us now. And this is going to be a direct application of what the Shaykh said. A person now want to connect with his family relation. Fine? You want to communicate with some of those family members that are obligatory upon him to speak with, to keep ties with, to keep connection with. Fine? Now when we jump through the screen, what's going to be the ruling on that? On keeping firm to those ties. If we say it's obligatory in the foundation, just because a person now has gone online, what's the ruling in regard to that, keeping family ties? It stays the same. It stays the same. Guess what? This is a practical application of what the Shaykh said. It's a practical application of what the Shaykh said. And what's that in the ahkam and maqasid? That the means take the ruling of the end goal. Simple as that. Fine? And so a person, because this is a sad reality, that a person doesn't assume that the second they jump through the screen into the field of social media, that he loses all responsibility. His dhimma, fine, you can take his neck, becomes loose of all responsibility. This is how many of us, they understand the issue. And the reason for that is the fact that a person can become what? Closed off. A person can become private with his phone. And sometimes you forget what? Muraqabatullah. You forget what? The only one that's watching you. Right? This issue here of people becoming, as you said, keyboard warriors. This issue of people behaving online different to they behave in real life. Fine? Is what is a branch of the issue of knowing that Allah is watching you, or knowing that Allah is watching you. And so just as when a person is qazd of another person, when a person says about another person X, Y, Z, your parents are X, Y, Z, your mother's an X, Y, Z, on the ground, if you understand the issue, it's going to help you stay away from the issue online. On the ground, what does the Sharia of Islam say about a person who claims that another person's wife or family member who has done X, Y, Z? What's their punishment? There's punishments in regard to that, severe punishments. Fine? Because we are talking about, if we're getting the details, we're not talking about the accusation of zina. Fine? Whether you think it's just a what? Banter or not. Fine? If you understand the issue in real life, to help you avoid the issue of what? When you log on, when you open the app, when you go onto your phone, when you go onto the tablet. Fine? So if you understand the foundation, then you understand the branch, and you understand how severe those issues can be. So just like a Muslim preserve your rights to certain do's and don'ts in his daily life, and if you understand this principle, you understand that the second you make that transition, it doesn't necessarily change. It doesn't necessarily change. So a person now who understands these issues that learns his religion outside or in the foundation, is going to now understand the do's and don'ts when he goes to another domain. طيب نوم بالأوضة الله المستعان. طيب anything to do with financial affairs, when a person goes what? He's on the internet, he's scrolling, he's on Instagram. Right? Instagram has a big marketplace right now, Facebook, wherever it might be, Snapchat, big place for business. What are those a branch of in real life? Scrolling on Facebook Marketplace. I gave you a principle. The principle says what? That's a branch of the foundation. So that's similar to something of what? In real life. What's that similar to? You're walking down the aisles. You're walking down the aisle and you're looking. When you click, it's the same as what? You're giving your card to the cashier. But when you put it in your basket, you put it on the till. Fine? It's a branch. So if you understand the foundation, you don't understand how to deal with what? This. Same conditions apply. Fine? The same wajibat and the same obligations and the same things that you can't buy. It doesn't change them what? They don't know who I am now. Wallahu musta'an. Right, so if you understand this, it really helps us clarify when we apply these type of understandings to whatever they might be, Facebook, TikTok, and other than that, طيب. A person now, he goes online and he says that he's doing a lot of traveling now. What do you mean? He's going to be what? He's going to be mixing with people. Right? We mentioned already that. A person's going to be mixing with people. Like it or not. These things are built for what? For mixing. Social media. You know what I mean? Right? The mixing on that platform there, whatever platform is a branch of mixing in what? Real life. So the same boundaries that the Sharia gave us in regard to mixing in real life are the same boundaries that need to apply what? When it comes to mixing in here, everything's running. I don't know what we're talking about, the issue of food mixing here. We touched on that. Get the issue of food mixing on that. Fine? It's important, but I believe it's been touched on and it's clear. Fine? Mixing in general, in the religion of Islam, is boundaries regarding. Fine? What the scholars say, what the Islam say about too much mixing. Fine? When to mix and when not to mix. Fine? When certain things are mentioned in the gathering, when does a person say, what? Okay, I'm gonna make a swift exit. If you understand that it's the branch of the asl of the foundation, you understand when I need to leave the group chat. Now, some of us have a lot of us have what family group chats. Fine? And that's built upon good. It's built upon what we said about keeping family ties. Excellent. And don't forget about the other rules. So when it starts mentioning, or people start mentioning the group X, Y, and Z, I need to understand how I would act with that outside. So that now in the chat, when it happens, if munkar is mentioned, what do I have to do? What did Islam say about outside if I see munkar? What did he do? He tries to change it. If you can't change it with hand, you change it with his tongue. If you can't change it with tongue, you change it with his heart. If you can't change it, what did it tell you to do when X, Y, and Z is mentioned? Don't sit with them until they mention other than that. So all of this what? All of these examples come under one issue that I mentioned. The foundation of issues, which is what? That is a branch of the foundation. So the Shaykh is going to what? It's going to mediate and teach you how to deal with those issues. Fine. Inshallah, alhamdulillah, we covered one. But it was the most important one, and you can see the depth of the application that we mentioned. Because that it helps us what? Because I could give you a lot of the other principles that are connected to it. Right? And we might forget some of them. But alhamdulillah, we've got a background picture, and I believe if you add this to what our Shaykh mentioned, how many you have a very good understanding of Allah, and it's